Guys, this video is sponsored by Bardia Helmy at Premier Fight Picks. Bardia is a top combat sports bettor and analyst with a 70% winning record publicly tracked over 4 years. Bardia was perfect last weekend, going 2 for 2 on a pair of prop bets. If you like to bet on fights and you're looking for a little help in picking the winners, go to PremierFightPicks.com and subscribe. With the return of Jon Jones this weekend and 7 UFC events scheduled in the coming months, this is the perfect time to sign up. Bardia is offering weekly, monthly, and yearly subscriptions to get you in on the best MMA bets, quick picks, and analysis. There are currently 3 bets posted for UFC 285, including the main event, and a future bet has already been posted for the Usman-Edwards trilogy. Your subscription will get you instant access to all of this content and more, so don't miss out. Go subscribe now at PremierFightPicks.com. And don't forget you can follow Bardia on Instagram at PremierFightPicks and on Twitter at PFP Handicapping for free access to fight breakdowns and betting analysis. Official prediction, Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. Now, full disclosure over here, right, guys? I am really bad at making predictions. I am so bad at predictions that the kids online, meaning you, have renamed my prediction the curse. The Chael curse. Now, I'm aware of that. And I'm hoping that you're right. I want you to be right. I want my long-standing predictions to backfire. That's how much I want against Jon Jones. Now, that's personal, of course. But I disclose that that's fully personal. That a guy who sat out 3 years could return to a weight class he has never even been licensed in, weighing an amount that he is refusing to reveal to us. He's going to make us see it with our own eyes between 9 and 11 a.m. on Friday morning during the official weigh-ins. He's currently a betting favorite against a very tough opponent in a weight class that he's never competed. I mean, these are my arguments against Jon Jones. Those are pretty loose. In all fairness, just so you hear me, if I was to come out and I was to try to bury Jon Jones and I was to attempt to make a meaningful case, it wouldn't be done the way I just did. I would need other things to be meaningful. I would need an injury report within his camp. I would need for him to be fighting a common opponent. And I could talk about what Jon has not done in the interim. And I could talk about the great things that the common opponent did in between time. I could talk about rumors of former sparring sessions between the twos. I could talk about breakups of the camp and the head coach jumping ship and now being in the opposing corner. I had none of those things. I have none of them, or already used them. I have nothing but circumstantial, personalized hope against hope that the most dynamic and talented fighter of all time lost his skills, lost his courage, lost his luster somewhere over the last 36 months of sitting at Albuquerque doing nothing. But I don't have evidence of it. I don't have proof of it. I am a guy that has worked on both sides of this coin. And the coin I'm talking about is the lose weight coin and the gain weight coin. And that's a rare guy. All of you have probably thought, I've tried to lose weight before. I'm all about intermittent fasting. I even read the book, The Wheat Belly. I understand, but how many of you actually did a diet? And if you did do a diet, if you stuck to that, you really stuck to it, 30 days, you really stuck to that diet. How many of you had to? See, that's a really rare thing in life, that anybody would have to stick to a diet. Our industry, our field, is the only one that I'm aware of where they weigh you in before they let you go to work. If you weigh more than they want you to weigh, they will fine you. Could you imagine that in any other walk of life? The ACLU would put a class action lawsuit so fast against whatever company told you that you must weigh a certain thing to be able to stay employed. And if you don't, we're going to fine you. So when I tell you that this is a rare thing, I do not say that to exaggerate. It is the only thing in the world that I'm aware of where what you weigh is very relevant to whether or not you get to go to work, make money, and use that to feed and support your family. I lived through having to make weight from the time I was 9 years old in my first wrestling tournaments, but when I got a little bit older, they changed the weight classes. And I was a 177 pounder. And the guys that I looked up to just happened to weigh 177 pounds. And therefore, someday I'm going to be 177 pounds, just like Les Gutchis weighs. Not 167 like Marcus Molokai weighs. That's too small. I'm going to be 177. Well, they changed 177 to 185. So now I got to pass the 77 and try to get to 85. Once I get to 85, that ceased from existing, and they make it 197 pounds. So my point was I just didn't weigh it. I lived the life of waking up early and drinking the energy drinks, getting the workout in, coming back to breakfast, potatoes covered in gravy, steaks, chicken fried every time, and that was just to get you to the 10 o'clock snack that then led you into the lunch hour. It was extremely painful, not just discomforting. It was uncomforting to go to bed dehydrated, to live like that for a week. It was great pains to cut weight. But when I was going the other way and I was trying to gain weight, my locker would be full of books and papers and glue and pencils and whatever goes into a locker. And I would have a six-pack of Ensure at all times. Ensure is largely marketed to senior citizens to make sure that they get their daily vitamins. Here, just shake this up and drink one of these. Okay, great. But I had 6 in my locker every single day. Every single day. One of the coaches went to my locker and put 6 in, made sure I drank the 6 the day before. I will just share for you, it's very hard to do. So Jon Jones has made a great dedication into doing this. What does it mean? There is a number of human rules out there that have not applied to Jon Jones. That is exactly what being the youngest champion of all time represents. Jon could do something that no other man could do, which is where him sitting out for 3 months, gaining weight in a terrible, uncomfortable process, being kicked out of his home gym by Wink and John, being dropped from his managers publicly by Malky, getting picked up by Richard Schaefer, who did one hell of a job back in the boxing day, but tried to revisit a model that disappeared 3 years ago and get it inked today, all the while keeping his head on straight, and he knows he's got Ciryl Gane waiting for him. And before he knew it was Ciryl Gane, he had accepted that it was going to be Stipe Miocic, and before it was Stipe Miocic, he assumed it was going to be Francis Ngannou, and Jon Jones did not blink. And that's the part of the story if you're in my shoes. If you're in my shoes and you're a detractor, you're a hater, you're not a well-wisher, part of the story that stings is the part of the story where Jon Jones, with no training and no experience in the weight class, accepted the biggest, most frightening man, that's what Francis Ngannou is, he accepted the most well-rounded and most successful heavyweight ever, that's what Stipe Miocic represents. And he accepted the Dutch kickboxer who 2 fights ago had a world title belt around his shoulder. He accepted all 3 of them in a 3-month period, and he never blinked once. And that is very intimidating. It's what makes it hard to hate, because there's a side that you must appreciate. But through appreciation, through hate, through what's obvious, through what's less clear, through what's inside knowledge, through what I had to investigate to get, I still bring for you that Jon Jones is going to come in second, because no man can take 3 years off, and as much as Ciryl Gane is not who I'd be putting in front of him. As aware as I am that there's one heavyweight in the top 25 who's never had a wrestling match, and it's Ciryl Gane. There's one heavyweight in the top 25 who does not have a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and it's Ciryl Gane. And there's one heavyweight that you could find for this job who's 1-1 in his last 2, and his name is Ciryl Gane. As much as I do admit for you that's not a very difficult opponent, it's still enough. And there's still no skills there in any fashion. Not with the feet, not with the knees, not with the hands, not with the elbows. Not with the submissions, and not with the takedowns that Jon Jones hasn't seen, dealt with, and persevered against at least 10 times in the past. That part hurts. But my prediction stands. Jones versus Ciryl. I'm putting the curse on Jones.